Hello and welcome to The Best Of. I'm your host, Ricky Tucker. On The Best Of, we focus on the best in the areas of business, entertainment, sports, and the community. And our guest today is Mr. Scotty Mason. Scotty is a professional basketball skills and drills professional trainer. And we'd like to welcome you to the show, Mr. Mason, Coach Mason, as I refer to you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, we're really excited about the show. We're just going to come right out of the blocks really hard and heavy. There are a lot of people that may not know you by name, but I'll bet if you mention just a few people that you've worked with, they'll immediately recognize the talent that you've helped to develop. So tell us just a few folks that you've worked with.
Okay, first of all, my top player that I train is Elliott Williams. He plays for the Portland Trail Blazers, played at the University of Memphis. And he's one of my top guys, but also the list goes on with O.J. Mayo. He used to play for the Grizzlies. He's with the Dallas Mavericks. Thaddeus Young, he plays for Philadelphia 76ers. And Derrick Byers. I have players that play like NBA and also overseas players. And also Helen Darling,
wow,
who plays for, she retired last year, but she used to play for the San Antonio Silver Stars. So I train men and women.
Great. That is awesome. And not only do you train men and women, but these folks are at the top of their career. So thanks to you in part for really investing your time and your gifts and talents into these young people. You mentioned Ms. Darling, and we were looking at your developmental training book here, and we noticed at the top left that Ms. Darling's picture's here.
Yes.
Boy, that's really good because
yes,
we actually had her as a guest on the show some time ago.
Okay.
So once again, that's really, really awesome, and we really appreciate you for what you're doing. Let's go ahead and find out some things about you. How did you actually get started as a professional basketball skills trainer?
Actually, it really started from the way I was raised, just the foundation of training and growing up in my community, of just playing out in the yard and just having others and watching them play. And also my father, with his business. He had a construction business. And I just kind of grew up watching how he was so focused, and he was passionate about his career. So as I got older and playing basketball, I would always talk to my coaches after practice. I would go in early, stay late, and I would always talk to my coaches about different drills and what ways I could get better. So it kind of grew on me in a natural sense. So and after I started teaching, and I also used to teach in the Memphis City schools.
Oh, wow.
And in my physical educational class, I would always hold students over before they would go to their next class and try to do a drill with them before they would dismiss for class. So it was right there in my heart all the time, and I just started, training guys, high school, college, elementary guys, and it led to my business.
Wow, that's incredible. And that really is some good guidance and coaching for young people who are out there, because what you've done is you've taken a skill that you've had and you've also taken just by observation that you saw in your dad. And it is so incredible. That's a lesson within itself, that you had a role model right in your home that you were able to look to and to really step out. So he was an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And so that made it a bit more comfortable and made you understand that arena.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And as an educator, so now you've got your basketball skills that you've actually, as you said, you've been a basketball player, but then you've been an educator as well. So with that, you've put these two together. And tell us a little bit more about really what drives you. Your dad has been kind of an inspiration to you. You've worked with some young people. Tell us a little bit more about what drives you.
Actually, what really drives me is when I can make a difference in a kid's life, when I can touch a kid skilled or unskilled, and just teach them life skill. That really drives me, because kids nowadays are growing up in unstable environments. Neighborhoods are not safe, and so when I have a kid in my training program, I try to make sure I'm always, looking professional, looking sharp. I try to stay myself. I try to jog every day, and I still play myself. So that drives me to stay on that professional level and equal with them, where I can participate in drills with them just to help them get better. So every day, every morning I wake up, I'm excited about trying to make a difference.
Yeah, that is awesome. And one of the things that I was just reminded of, and it is just so incredible to be on the show with someone that that I can share this with, because the thing with Coach Scotty and the thing with me is neither one of us ever work a day in our lives. You don't work a day in your life, because I can tell that you absolutely love what you do.
Love it.
And this is what you were born to do.
Born to do it. It's in my heart. I didn't play professional basketball, but I know in my heart that I love the sport.
Absolutely.
Because, I would all, and I tell this story to kids now, I was the first one up in my household. I had slept with a basketball.
Wow.
Woke up like 6 o'clock in the morning, dribbling my ball to the park. And, the first one there, and sometimes the last one to leave. So I know in my heart I love basketball.
Right.
And, and when kids come to me, I can get a feel for if they really love it. They don't, if a kid really loves basketball, they don't complain, they don't make excuses, and they're ready to work.
Absolutely.
and those are life skills,
Well, that's another lesson too. I tell you what, we're not going to have enough time to cover everything we want to cover here today, because just one conversation after the other keeps bubbling up. My wife and I provide professional development and consulting, and she heads that up, and then I head up life and business coaching for athletes, and that's been a natural fit for us. But the one thing that you have said is the one message that we consistently work to tell young people is everybody's not going to make the league, but there's so many other opportunities.
Right.
You can make yourself over and
Right.
over and over again, and you've proven that by all the athletes that you've worked with.
Right.
So let's talk some more about you, and we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about some of the other players
Okay.
that you've talked to us in the past. What age group do you actually train?
Actually, I started at a beginner's level, and that's elementary, middle school, high school, college, and professional level. So I pretty much train all levels, and not only skilled players, but I also train unskilled players. And a lot of trainers, some of them probably can only train you if you're already good. So. And that drives me also when I can train someone who's not as good, and I can really see the progress. Okay.
Absolutely. So you're telling me, in other words, you like a challenge.
I like a challenge,
Yeah.
and it kind of makes me work a little harder.
Absolutely.
Even if I'm not in the gym, I'm still working. Sometimes I go home and look at film and look at different videos of different drills that I can do different to make this kid better, or read books,
Yeah.
So I it's always work to do,
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember being the gym and you giving me some homework to do a few weeks ago, asking me to read Michael Jordan's book, or the book about Michael Jordan's
Relentless.
Relentless, absolutely. So we know that you are, and you said it early on, that you're really the standard. You live what you are teaching.
Right.
You know, so many times you have, and for the ones of us who are baby boomers, there was this saying, do as I say and not as you see me do.
Right.
But you're actually leading the charge. So you're at the things that you're asking your players to do, they're things that you've done.
Exactly.
So go ahead.
And that kind of started, once again, with my dad, with his construction business. He would always help the ones that really didn't have a chance as well. So the same thing in basketball, some of the kids who didn't make the team, some of the kids that's out of high school trying to play college ball, I put that in the same situation with how my dad used to help people, you know, who've gotten in trouble, maybe, you know, had to serve time, and he'll give them jobs.
Wow.
So I kind of relate that to that.
That is awesome. Well, that leads to kind of a three-part question, or we could just separate it into three parts. There was a purpose for you doing what you're doing. And what was the reason for you starting? I mean, you kind of touched on it, but what was the reason for you really starting?
Actually, my purpose is to give back my talent. Good. You know, the gift that God has given me, I must share it with someone else, and that's how I can continue to get blessed.
Absolutely.
So, and that's another key point, that I was raised in a family where we, you know, religion and we had a spiritual side too.
Absolutely.
So even in some of my workouts, you know, I share those different experiences with kids to let them know that it's more to basketball, you know, than just play basketball. So I try to teach them, you know, just be balanced.
Yeah.
Have a spiritual life, a physical life where you can exercise, mental life where you can keep growing mentally, and the emotional side too, where you can learn how to enjoy and be happy at the same time. So.
Absolutely. Now, I know that when you get up in the morning, your feet and toes are wiggling, you're just pumped up, you're excited for another day. And every day you get up to get on the battlefield, or as I say, go in the jungle, if you will, you have a mission. You're on a mission. And what is that mission?
Actually, that mission is to make a difference, teach life skills, and ultimately, the mission and my vision is to ultimately have my own gym as well.
Oh, great.
So, you know, I continue to set short-term goals, and I try to talk to my kids about setting goals.
Wow.
And write them down on a piece of paper and put them on your wall, you know, whatever your goals are, you know, if you don't get there, you can be amongst them. So, you know, but it's always work to do, you know, you just can't try to reach your goals if you're not putting in the time and the work.